Maybe you've seen the idea for making yarn from old t-shirts, or maybe you've even made some of your own. But if you are not a person who knits or crochets, you may be like me, staring at this incredible upcycled t-shirt yarn thinking, now what? If that sounds like you, then I have some super simple t-shirt yarn ideas to share with you today that require no knitting or crocheting. If you'd like to hear more about actually making the t-shirt yarn, or ideas and tips for sourcing yarn and some alternative materials that you can use, I do have a video of that which you can also check out. But for now, I am so excited to share some of these project ideas, and this first one is so mind-blowingly simple, and yet, honest to goodness, it is one of my favorite projects here. So this is a ball of t-shirt yarn, and my first suggestion is to simply use this as a ball. This might sound overly simplistic, and maybe you're thinking, I already have some baseballs or softballs or tennis balls or whatever it is. But the sturdy, lightweight feeling of these t-shirt yarn balls, I just love. It is so wonderful for playing catch. I even feel okay about it indoors because it's so lightweight. It's also really good if you're playing catch with young kids, or if you're just not super sporty like myself. You can definitely use it outdoors too. The only thing I would suggest is that if you're going to be throwing it around a lot, or using even like a lightweight bat with it, you might want to just be very strategic about wrapping up that last layer of it, or even using little dabs of glue gun glue or something like that to hold it into place. Sometimes we've played catch with it and it's been just fine, but we were using a little lightweight kids bat with this the other day, and it all just came unraveled a couple of the times. It was a little bit like a scene from The Natural, so if you're going for that, then that's great. We thought it was hilarious, but if you'd like to avoid some of that frustration, then yeah, I would just recommend using maybe some little bits of glue on the last layer of winding it up. The second idea is also ridiculously simple, and that is simply to use the t-shirt yarn as string. So I use this yarn to hang and dry herbs. I also use it in little places like to hang our branch curtain rods that we have. I use it to tie around fabric gift bags or gift boxes. Using the yarn as string is also super great if you have made t-shirt yarn with a shirt that has some of those side seams, because then depending on the length of the string you need, it really doesn't matter that it had those side seams. So that's always good to know. And then kind of building on the idea of using the t-shirt yarn just simply as string, I sometimes use it to sew into drawstring bags that I'm making, or I've used it to sort of sew closed these upcycled paper stockings that I've made, or on these cereal boxes as the handles. So yes, all kinds of ideas for simply using t-shirt yarn as string. And then just a slight step up from using this as string, you can use t-shirt yarn as shoelaces, which can be a lot of fun, especially if you want to get really colorful with your shoelaces. I find this works better if you've made sort of a thin t-shirt yarn, especially some of our shoes had really, really small holes for getting the yarn through, which was a little bit tricky. I had wrapped a little bit of tape on the ends of the string just to help with threading it through the shoelaces, but this can be a super cute idea. If you're looking to use more parts of the t-shirt than were just there to make the t-shirt yarn, you can just cut strips of some of that leftover t-shirt fabric and just simply tie it around a piece of t-shirt yarn to create kind of this fun and funky bunting. I am still in process making ours because it requires a little bit of patience, but I have seen these online and they look so super cute. Another crazy simple idea is just to use the t-shirt yarn to wrap around and cover something. So you could upcycle a jar and just kind of cover it with t-shirt yarn and just kind of glue it down in parts to make sure it stays. Or you could wrap it around a planter pot. So especially if you're using just kind of a cheap plastic pot for your plant, you could just wrap that t-shirt yarn around it to just give it a different look. And then on that note, you could also wrap the t-shirt yarn around the border of a frame, or if you don't have a frame, you could also just cut a frame out of a cardboard box and upcycle that cardboard and wrap it around to make a cute little frame, or you could wrap it around different shapes. You could also wrap it around hangers to kind of help keep your clothes on, or if your hanger has slightly broken and you just taped it up, you can wrap this around to hide that and keep using that hanger. And now to get slightly fancy, if you'd like to, you can cut this into 3 strands or 5 strands and do a braid and make headbands with this or bracelets with it or even belts. So you could use the same color t-shirt yarn for each strand of your braid, or you could kind of like mix and match, which would be fun. And these are all wonderful, but if you want to try something a little bit different, you could also try making yarn with dance tights, which I talk about a little bit in the other video. But when you use dance tights to make this yarn, it's very stretchy, which can be so cool for making things like scrunchies or headbands, or even just like a little cover for a bun. If you are a dancer, that would be really fun. You could also finger crochet these headbands or bracelets, which is fun too, but you definitely don't need to get that fancy if that is not something you already know how to do. And then pom-poms are also super cute with t-shirt yarn. They've definitely got a different look, and I would recommend using sort of a thinner cut for these, but that can be something you could also make with t-shirt yarn. In the past, I have actually made a jump rope using t-shirt yarn. I think I actually had finger crocheted that one, so I don't know if it was using the finger crochet instead of braiding it, but the jump rope was a little bit too stretchy when we actually turned with the jump rope. So there's probably a way around that, but that just wasn't my favorite way to use it, but that is an idea to explore. I realized though that if I simply tied a long piece of t-shirt yarn into a loop, you could get this, which people use to do games like Cat's Cradle, or I think there's different names for this. Some people call it elastics or jumpsies or Chinese jump rope, to do that game where the loop is around people's ankles and you do different jumping patterns. I think it would definitely work with t-shirt yarn, but in this case, I actually think that using sort of a dance tights yarn would actually be a little bit better. If you're planning to make one of these loop ropes with this, I think that that stretchiness of the dance tights would work a little bit better. If you attach some short, thin t-shirt yarn to a paper clip, you could have these really cute bike streamers. And then macrame always looks so mysterious to me. My daughter somehow figured this out all on her own, so she taught me, and it's actually a lot easier than it looks. So this can be a great way to use t-shirt yarn. I know there are way fancier projects to do with macrame. I really can't speak for how t-shirt yarn would work with those, but it worked really well for this plant hanger. So that is something else you could do with t-shirt yarn. And then probably one of my absolute favorite projects to do with t-shirt yarn is to make these camp lanyards. So I made a bunch of these as a kid at scout camps and things like that. And we would just make them with sort of a plastic string, I guess. But what if you made them with t-shirt yarn instead? I love, love, love making these with t-shirt yarn. Having more awareness about our planet and the effects of the products that we use, I just feel so much better about it. And I think it would be really cool if summer camps tried this out with t-shirt yarn instead. It would be such a great upcycling project and just help kids be more aware of the power of reusing. And these are also so great to work with. I think it's a lot easier to work with than using that plastic cording, and they're a lot more pliable. So if you wanted to like use all green yarn for something like this and then form it into a little circle and make a little wreath ornament, or if you wanted to use red and white t-shirt yarn and maybe even stick like a small wire in there to make a little candy cane, there are lots of ideas to do with these camp lanyards other than just making them to make them or to have as key rings, which are also fun too. But because the yarn works so much better than the plastic, I just love, love, love making these. So if you haven't made these in a while or you've never made them, I highly recommend them, especially with t-shirt yarn. When I started brainstorming project ideas for this t-shirt yarn, I was surprised by just how many ideas started flowing. I feel like I could easily add to this list, and I know that all of you have your own great ideas too. Hopefully this can be a good beginning point to some of your own creative thoughts as well. But I've been just so excited to share these here, as simple as they are, because I feel like I just spent so long with t-shirt yarn just waiting for projects that I could actually make without having to learn the art of crochet first. And now I use t-shirt yarn all the time. Again, if you'd like a little bit of a chat about t-shirt yarn itself and how to make it, I have my other videos, so you can check that out. Thank you so much for being here. Your actions can and will make a difference.